Okay, rulers, settle down. Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get pre-orders of all the upcoming Force of Will sets, as well as releases of previous sets after they come out. CCGprime.com, with over 100,000 Force of Will singles, as well as out-of-print boxes from the past, and TCG accessories, as well as FowlLibrary.com, a wonderful resource for deck lists, article discussions, and more. Check them out at FowlLibrary.com, as well as these amazing patrons. Special thanks to guest lecturer patrons Shukong Fu, Vite Ramen, and Maxime Van He. Thank you for your support. Class is in session. Hey there, rulers. DMO73 here, bringing you a new deck profile for the Life Loss Athenia that you saw me play earlier this week. It's a little bit different, mainly 3 card changes, which I'll go into. And once again, this is a New Frontiers deck profile, but the main deck is built so that you could take it directly into Wanderer and be completely in line with the Wanderer ban list and combination ban list. The only difference is that you'd have to change the Magic Stones of the 6 Sages to Magic Stones of Moonshade. So, but other than that, you can, if you're just getting into Wanderer, you can absolutely take this and just go straight into it as it was. I mean, there's plenty of stuff in Wanderer that you can use to upgrade it, but it's fine as is. So obviously, Athenia, her only ability is the fact that she has 2 different revolutions, so we want to be able to flip back and forth as much as possible. We also just kind of are not going at our opponent's face very aggressively, unless we just get absolutely insane with one-shotting them with Obrazuki, or, you know, just hitting them a couple of times with Obrazuki and doing some crazy stuff that way. Other than that, your main win conditions is honestly life loss through Tree of Decay, life gain through Tree of Growth, and then Arena Expansion. Like, you're just going to drain your opponent to death through indirect damage, which is very, very fun. Stone deck wise, obviously we're playing 4 6 Sage Stone, 4 Magic Stone of Knowledge, and 2 Epic Stone of the Element. If you're going into Wanderer, this probably becomes 4 Moonshades, 4 Black Silences, and 2 probably black red, so Scorch Bales, just so you have access to some of the red, or maybe a black red and then a green red, so that you can always have green black on turn 2. Going into the main deck, obviously the star of the deck is Obrazuki, absolutely pinnacle for being able to do the revolution, set up your graveyard, and apply these amazing stat bump negs to your opponent's board on demand, which is very, very crazy. And then again, every single time a card goes from RFG to graveyard, she gets 2 counters, and we can get cards to the RFG and then back into the graveyard very, very quickly. 3 copies of Feasting, because we do play a lot of additions, so it's actually really nice to be able to use it as a control package, as well as being able to use her to flip back and forth between Death and Rebirth as fast as we can, because she can unorder herself, so you can do some pretty cool things there. 4 Spirit of Decay for some additional indirect damage, especially as the graveyard gets big, and then again, also a way to be able to give yourself kind of back and forth, which is nice, because Spirit of Decay can just target itself with its neg counters and kill itself, and then you can flip back over to the front side if you need to. 3 Gil Lapis, Guardian Vampire, because, of course, it's, 1, first off, gotta include my boy Gil in every deck possible, and also 2, it's nice indirect damage for life loss and also stat control, and recurring things like Obrazukis that have been killed back to your hand, which is awesome. Mikage Shinjiro to fill up the graveyard, as well as being able to recast cards that have been removed from the game. 3 copies of Athenia enters the Game of Gods. The only reason why we're not playing 4 is because this card doesn't have quick cast, so it's definitely a lot harder to get the Force Resonance to be exactly what you want when you want it. But it's a good way to refill your hand. It's also a good way to kind of swing multiple times, which with Obrazuki, which is kind of cute. You can like swing with Obrazuki for a lot, use this to do Force Resonance Rebirth, force them to discard or banish, and that which they probably don't have anything to banish because you've stat negged them, get another counter, couple counters on Obrazuki, recover her, and then go in for lethal. So it's a nice little 1-2 punch there. 2 copies of Death and Rebirth for a similar kind of package of the fact that it's mostly internal, and we're keeping our opponent's board clear a lot, so the Force Resonance Death isn't absolutely like that great, but you know, there's lots of different things that you can do. It is a nice way to be able to get rid of additions, which is definitely a thing for sure. 3 copies of Conclave at the Dragon Mountain, because this refills your hand as well as helps you get cards to the graveyard, especially cards you don't want to see in your hand, like the 3 copies of Necromancer of Ma'at. Hate to see this card in the hand, Conclave helps get rid of it. 4 copies of Attendant Asmodeus, once again, it's a great way to deal with additions, as well as being able to get cards directly to the RFG from the deck, which works really well for the deck's engine. 2 copies each of Tree of Growth and Tree of Decay. There's arguments to maybe potentially go up to 3 Tree of Growth and down to 2 Necromancer. That's kind of just personal flavor choice, but those are some options. And then 4 copies of Arena Expansion Bonefield. Athenia is straight up the only ruler who wants to run 4 copies of her Arena Expansion, because it's also a win con, or it helps accelerate the win con because you're draining them and gaining back life, and it just is also really great fuel for making feasting a much bigger cancel. So there you guys have it. That is the deck. Again, this is kind of a base idea of what Athenia is trying to do. Certainly ways to improve it in Wanderer, absolutely, but if you're looking to get started, this is where I would get, this is the shelf that I would start on. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment sections down below, and until next time, this is DMO73 saying class dismissed.